Sup?
Hi there.
Tyler, Keith, plugged on, here with an album review. This time we're going to talk about the new album from Distrubed, titled Evolution. This is their 7th album, the first since, I think, Immortalized in 2015.
That was 3 years ago? Wow.
Also known as the album with the sound of silence on it.
Yeah, because that's like all that people remember, you know.
At least as of recent Disturbed music.
Yeah. So.
But, yeah, Disturbed's been around for a long time now. They've moved in interesting directions, you could say. And what do you think of this album?
I am not the biggest fan of this album. And so I'm going to probably keep what I have to say very brief, because you can basically, in my opinion, divide this album up into two things. You can divide it up into your kind of typical Disturbed, usual kind of stuff with songs like Are You Ready, In Another Time, The Best Ones Lie, and songs like that. And then there's basically like these very generic ballads, like A Reason to Fight and Hold On to Memories and Already Gone. And that's kind of like the entire album right there. You can put every song into one of those two categories. And none of them do nothing for me. I mean, that was like, you know, I think it was both of ours, but at least my biggest complaint with their last album is that it's just the same stuff that Disturbed's always done. And yeah, cool, they're doing newer stuff because they're trying to capture that lightning in a bottle again with that sound of silence stuff. But I don't think any of it hits, in my opinion. Like, there's some hard riffs and like The Best Ones Lie and In Another Time, and like No More a little bit, but like it's usually like the vocals that turn me off more so than anything else. Probably, I don't know. It's especially like in songs like No More. Like I look at No More and I'm like, musically I like the song, but then the vocal patterns and stuff and the lyrics just I don't like, and that's kind of the issue. Is that I don't like, that's just it. It's like, I mean, it just sounds like every other vocal line that Disturbed's ever done. And which, sure, I get it. Bands have a style and they usually stick to it. And I'll also throw myself slightly under the bus. I mean, some of the stuff that I listen to, a lot of people probably think, yeah, that all sounds the same. And it's like, and you know what, you probably wouldn't be wrong, but I just happen to not really like this album. I mean, to me, there's not really much that stands out from this album, and it's just kind of an album that I probably will not remember come in a little while or want to talk about or be anywhere near my top list personally. I don't like this album.
I'll say I enjoyed this album more than I thought I was going to, because I really the lead single "Are You Ready" is like super fucking corny to me. Like, get up, are you ready?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It doesn't get me going. And I think here's the thing. To me, the way I think about it, like Disturbed has a sound, and people say that, you know, all their stuff kind of sounds very much the same, and you might not be wrong. But to me, I think about songs like Stricken, Prayers, you know, Liberate, Inside the Fire, like some of their bigger singles from 10 plus years ago, after Down with the Sickness, because they really they shifted a little bit more and more to where they are now after Down with the Sickness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think about those songs, and I could still throw those songs on and go like, fuck yeah. Like, yeah. I'm just going to rock out for 5 minutes, and these songs just jam, you know? And David Jeremy sounded great on those, like 10,000 Fists, like, let's get fucking going, you know what I mean? To me, it's like their stuff recently, those songs just don't have that trigger in it to me.
That bite. That
gets me going, you know, to where I want to just listen to a Disturbed fucking hard rock song. You know, they just don't have it. I mean, maybe the closest one on here to me is The Best Ones Live, which is probably the best song on the album. But it still just doesn't come even close to songs that they had, you know, a few albums ago.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably my thing. And now, this album does have a lot of ballads on it. I don't think all of them are bad, but then at the same time, they don't excite me either.
Yeah.
To the point where I go, you know, that was awesome. Probably the best one is A Reason to Fight. I think that song has a solid message to it, but it's not something that I'm gonna throw on all the time. But there's some interesting guitar stuff going on from Dan Donegan. My favorite riff on this album is the opening riff to No More. That riff is groovy as fuck.
Yeah, it's a good riff.
I'm like, yes, let's go. When this riff started, I'm like, let's do this thing, dude. But at the same time, like, man, I think about some of like the older Disturbed riffs, and I'm like, those things fucking jam. Or like even some of the solos, like the solo to Stricken is fucking amazing. I wish there was some more of that on here, or it just clicked more. I think that's just the thing to me. It's not that it's necessarily bad, because if you're a big Disturbed fan, I'm sure you're going to have a lot to enjoy on here probably. It's just those songs just aren't clicking with me at all. And I would say even from the last album, they just didn't click with me. They just didn't, the lead songs just, or even any of the other ones, listening to the album in full, just don't have that same bite to them.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, I agree. I mean, that's definitely probably. So you said a lot better. So like, I don't mean because that probably sounded very negative when I was talking. I mean, it's because there's nothing wrong with this album. It's just not for me.
Yeah, and it's not that I didn't go into this album with like mind. Though it's Disturbed, I'm just gonna shit all over it. Like, if there's good shit, there's good shit, and there's some solid stuff on here. I just don't think it clicks. And I think in the back of my mind too, I forget which one did the interview where they said this is their Black album. So the whole time I'm listening to this album, and that's what I'm thinking of, and I'm like, no, it's not. Like,
or it's like no. I heard another interview with I think Dan Donegan where he was like, or I'm pretty sure it was him, and he was like, yeah, it's weird, like, trying to do like a whole bunch of new stuff, and like, yeah, there's like a lot more ballads on this album, but then for the most part, just about everything else is
and there's some
Disturbed.
Interesting acoustical guitar work that starts off some of these ballads that I'm like, this is actually pretty sweet that you don't hear this from Disturbed all the time. And I'm like, I can be down with this, but I think hearing that like, oh, this is our Black album kind of painted my perception going into it already, because I read that and then I listened to Are You Ready? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. Like, that's not your Enter Sandman. You've had that.
Yeah, that was way
long time ago. I don't know. I mean, it's a thing for sure. I mean, it's not something I'm going to jam really that often. And if I'm going to listen to Disturbed, there's fucking way more songs.
There's way better Disturbed stuff to listen to. So, yeah,
this is my thing. Yeah,
but all I gotta say, I mean, I give it like a. I'll even be a little bit generous because I mean, again, like I said, this isn't my cup of tea. I'll give it like a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10, maybe.
Yeah, it's a solid 7 to me. So. David Draymond though, not bad, but sometimes his voice can just get on my nerves.
Yeah, a little bit. It's
just shadows to me. The way he pronounces certain things.
Yeah,
it's just maybe not the way I want him to do it. But somebody else could be like, oh, I love how he did that.
Yeah, it's just like, the way certain things sound.
It's just me.
Yeah, certain, but, yeah.
But then at times, he's got like a fucking
At other times, he fucking nails it, and it's like, yeah, there you go.
Also, they're still trying to ride, I'm just calling them on it. They're still trying to ride that Sound of Silence train. Because if you buy the deluxe edition...
Don't they have like a live version of it?
Yeah, there's a live version with Miles Kennedy.
Oh.
Which is interesting. Yeah. It just really quick before we go. It was fascinating, I guess, 2-3 years ago when that song blew up.
Yeah.
I mean, I had people at work talking about Disturbed that do not listen to Disturbed.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my god, that cover Sound of Silence is great, and then they play it over and over and over again. It was fascinating because, you don't see that very often.
Broke a lot of boundaries, I guess.
Yeah, for a rock band in 2015, 16, 17, whatever.
Yeah.
to get to that point anymore. You know, I guess the closest I can think something's been is Bad Wolves, the zombie.
Yeah, that's been probably the closest thing since then. I mean, yeah, in terms of that kind of scale.
That was fascinating. So, let's know what you think of Evolution by Disturbed. Thanks for watching. See you later.